Have you ever wondered what The Undertaker thought of AEW? Or what about Tony Khan's thoughts on this specific free agent? WWE is looking at having a superstar return, but it looks like AEW could be interested as well. And we got to talk about a top WWE superstar who is injured. It's all happening right here on The Angle Show. Whether you love her or hate her, we got to talk about Ronda Rousey because it appears Ronda Rousey is in fact injured. According to PW Torch, the reports have now come out that Rousey has aggravated a prior injury. Despite the injury, it wouldn't prevent her from wrestling at WrestleMania next month in Los Angeles, where she is also reportedly versing for the women's tag team titles. They're going to compete for those alongside with Shayna Baszler. Now, the thing is, this seems to be some sort of like shoulder or arm injury. Obviously, Ronda Rousey isn't getting physical on WWE, SmackDown, or Raw anytime soon, but it is going to be very interesting to see how this actually impacts them because Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler haven't necessarily challenged for the women's tag titles yet. There isn't a storyline there that has been set up. Instead, WWE just had Lita and Becky Lynch defeat Damage Control recently on Raw. So it's obviously a very questionable decision if you're WWE to go this route. WrestleMania is just a few weeks away, and they still haven't, built that storyline. I don't know exactly what the plans are here, but if Ronda and Shayna are expected to go after those tag titles, it would not be a good look for them to lose, considering that they're trying to get this division, actually give it some momentum or whatever. But nonetheless, Rousey is injured. We'll see how this actually impacts her. We'll see how this actually impacts the plans. And by the way, this could be one of the reasons why WWE has yet to actually announce any sort of official match for the women's tag titles at WrestleMania. I'm guessing they're probably just wanting to see what's going on with this injury and how serious it actually is. But by the looks of it, it may not be that serious. If you guys were ever seriously considering, if you guys ever wondered what Undertaker's thoughts were of AEW, this should tell you everything. So there was a tweet that went pretty viral. Imagine you're Stone Cold on your ranch drinking a Budweiser, scrolling Twitter, and you see this being compared to you. Kevin Nash responds, "Don't worry, he ain't watching." Undertaker, who barely ever uses social media, responds with huge pop. Now, that's not it. That's not all. So also on Hotboxing with Mike Tyson, Undertaker was talking about this, and basically Mike Tyson actually spoke about this on the episode. If it came down to him working with AEW or WWE, he would choose WWE, even though AEW would throw him more money. That is a very, very, very big statement, considering that Mike Tyson has been involved with AEW in the past. He believes in the WWE product much more, and Undertaker actually responded to that statement by saying that WWE would get it right in comparison to AEW. So it doesn't look like The Undertaker is a big fan of AEW, but also at the same time, too, I don't think AEW necessarily cares what The Undertaker thinks either. It is very interesting to see The Undertaker use more social media or being on podcasts these days. It's also very interesting to see that Undertaker is actually relatively outspoken when he's doing these public outings, when he's doing his talk show, when he goes on tour, when he does these podcasts, when he goes on social media. Undertaker just kind of does his own thing without a filter, and I guess, that's just shocking considering that Undertaker has always tried to protect the business in that regard. Now, what's really funny about this, all of this stemmed from Wheeler Yuta being compared to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't like comparisons in wrestling. I've never really liked comparisons. I always believed you should be the first of whatever. So Wheeler Yuta, huge fan of him. I think it is silly to compare him to Stone Cold. I don't think there's anybody out there like Wheeler Yuta, and I don't think there's anybody out there like Stone Cold. I think Stone Cold is Stone Cold. Wheeler Yuta is Wheeler Yuta, and they do a great job in their respective roles. Nonetheless, this has obviously become a big topic on social media. It's also been a pretty big debate, and a lot of people are actually really pissed off that The Undertaker apparently doesn't like AEW, which is just strange as well. But, I don't blame him. Undertaker has millions of followers more than me, and people don't like when I ever criticize wrestling, so I guess they wouldn't like it if Undertaker was either. It's strange, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Undertaker is obviously a legend in the business. He has the right to feel that way, and if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. It's not like he's openly criticizing AEW all the time, but it is very clear he's not too fond of what AEW does. And again, Undertaker's just, he's an old timer. The business has changed. The business has moved on. I think Cody Rhodes said it best. When talent, wrestling, there's something for everybody, and that's the way it should be. You know, if wrestling is your thing, or if entertainment's your thing, or if the storylines or the deathmatch stuff, like there's literally something for everybody. And as long as it's selling tickets and as long as it's getting popular, then it's a good thing for wrestling in general. And I do typically agree with that sentiment. With that being said, guys, I want to turn our attention to the final story of today's video. We are talking about Taya Valkyrie. So it does appear that WWE could very well be on their way of making a huge splash by bringing her back to the company. PW Insider has actually reported via Wrestling Headlines that with this new report, there has been heavy interest in Valkyrie from WWE and AEW, likely being the contenders. Now, for those who don't remember, Taya Valkyrie was in WWE as Frankie Monet. Then she was released as part of the WWE's budget cuts during COVID-19. Now, with that being said, she left WWE, went to Impact. We see her in MLW. We sell her in AAA. She continued to make a big splash outside of WWE. Now it's being said that WWE does want to bring her back. There's also rumors that Tony Khan and AEW also want to bring her back, but WWE could likely be the front runner considering that Triple H running the company now. It's obviously been a big change for a lot of talent who have come back. Now, I do want to point this out because I think this is so incredibly important to mention. WWE bringing back people, it's not a big deal. You got a lot of TV time. You're trying to fill up the rosters. Cool, right? That's fine. You got to have a plan for the people you're bringing back. That's the first thing. Secondly, you got to do a better job of introducing them to your main roster if they are debuting on the main roster. Guys like Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano are finally starting to gain a little bit of momentum, but it took some time. They weren't getting reactions at first. So it does take a little bit of time. You got to introduce them a little bit better. But the third thing, most importantly, and this is where I think maybe Taya Valkyrie and other people might stay away from WWE. You don't know what's going on with the company in terms of a sale or Vince McMahon. And I can't imagine wanting to sign with a company knowing that perhaps maybe when I sign, Vince McMahon could come back in charge and everything could absolutely change. So I'm just bringing that up. I think those three things are absolutely critical. I think those are the three things that a lot of people are going to be paying attention to, especially if you're a free agent. But also Taya Valkyrie could be in a good position to go to AEW as well, because AEW obviously is improving their women's division. We know Tony Khan has plans for an all-women's show. He's going to need some star power for that. So this will be very interesting. But I think more than likely WWE would be the heavy favorite based on the fact that she's worked with Triple H before. You never know what's going to happen. She expressed before in the past that she enjoyed being a free agent and she enjoyed working for multiple promotions. But she also did hint that 2023 would be the year that she could look for permanent work. In that case, WWE would be the one probably more than likely to give that to her. So a lot of big things happening, obviously, in the world of pro wrestling. I'm going to keep you guys updated along the way, whether it's live streams, shorts, or even videos like this. So if you guys are new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.